Hello, today we are going to be brewing a Sierra Nevada clone. I really like the beer because it has a very hop forward taste, and in the end it's very malty, so it's best of both worlds. What's cool about this beer is that it has 3 grains. I think the original only has 2, but the recipe I found has carapils in it to give it more head retention. First grain is going to be 2-row, which is the base malt, which gives it the beeriness. The other 2 beers we're going to be using, like I said, is going to be Carapils and Crystal 60, give it color. I got the grain bag right behind me, 17 pounds of grain right there. Give us 10 gallons at about 10:46, hopefully if everything goes well. Right over here I have a mash tun that we're going to be using. It's just a Gatorade cooler, about 7 gallons. Using the 1.2 quarts per pound gets us basically a little above the 7 gallons. We'll still be okay though. The other things that we're going to be using today are going to be my thermometers. I have the thermal pen and another thermal pen. The other one is like an oven style that lets me just turn it on, put it on the side of something magnetic and let it set, and with a timer and a temperature alarm, which is pretty cool. The first thermal pen is just a stick one that's going to be used to spot check temperatures. I also use a pH meter just because I'm a nerd. You really don't need it because you have the 5.2 pH stabilizer, but it's nice to check it. I'm also going to be using a kegel, which is a 15-gallon keg with the top cut open to boil the water and the wort. I also have a spittle fermenter that's 15 gallons that allows us to ferment all 10 gallons at once. Inside the mash tun, I use a steel screen with some PVC piping and a brass fitting in the front. Works out pretty well, and my efficiencies are around 75 to 80%, depending on how well the grain has been mashed or crushed. As you can see, it's not that bad. I did where I bought it, and I didn't do it at home, but this is what it looks like. We heat our water to 174 degrees. The mashing temp is 154. With the cooler and the grain being a little bit colder, even though we preheated the cooler, we still had to bring it up 20 degrees higher than the mashing temp. Using an online calculator, I saw that our 7-gallon mash tun is able to hold about 17.5 pounds of grain. We use 17 pounds of grain in this one, so we definitely filled it to the top. We actually had to drain out some of the water just because the lid needed room when we tie it down. So it's actually not a 7-gallon mash tun, it's more like 6.8, which is still okay. We just add that water back into the boil, so it's a little amount, which is nice to keep, but not that much to worry about. We had a few dough balls, which is to be expected with all this grain, so we just cut those out and take them out. Assistant brewers today are Aaron on the left and Eric on the right. We're able to hit our mash temperature 154 degrees. After an hour, it'll go up to 154 after 153, so we said it's okay. After that hour is up, you can see that the water is now actually wort because the sugars have been extracted from the grain. We ended up being 154.5 degrees, which still, we're not doing a commercial brewing, so it's okay. We batch barge with 170 degree water. What that is, you just rinse in the rest of the grain out of there because there's still some water left in their wort now. So we have to heat it up as much as possible without extracting tannins, which some smart people figured out is 170 degrees. So we poured 2 gallons of water in there and just let it sit for 10 minutes and drain it out. Here you can see the water is boiling. We're going to put our first 70-minute addition hops in there. We don't want to get the hops stuck inside. We use a muslin bag to prevent the drain from getting stuck when we drain the wort into the fermenter. Last time we brewed, it took about an extra 20 minutes of fiddling around with it to get all the wort out. For the last 2 hop additions, which are Cascade, we use a paint strainer bag, just to throw them in there and put it on the side and call it a day, not to use 2 muslin bags. We use a immersion chiller to chill the wort. It's made for 7 gallons, but it works for 10 gallons, just takes a little bit longer. For aerating the wort, we just let it drain into the sanitized fermentation chamber from a high level, open up the valve all the way and let it run. It does pretty well in the past, and I don't think we'll have any issues with it. When you're all done, you just throw all the yeast in there, put the top on, and put it in a fermentation chamber. Most important thing you can do is control the temperature, so that's wires hanging out over there. Thanks for watching. Happy brewing.